Hello,
Welcome in,
everyone.
everybody.
Bright
Hey,
suns.
bright suns, guys. How are you? How are you today?
I do pretty well. I just enjoyed the stream a little bit later than I'd normally like to, but here we are, ready
Just sit
to
down and
go.
take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Well, I got ahead of it a little bit today, believe it or not, and
Yeah.
I have just I found a YouTube video that is the Disneyland Main Street Christmas music loop. And I
Nice.
think I sent you the link, but it is so cool, guys. There are all kinds of it's really nice. While I was getting ready this morning, I just played that, and
Hmm.
it's really nice. We all need we all need a little booster, something to make us feel better, make us happy, and that certainly does it. And it is nice. You can put it on in the background and just play it like you would regular Christmas music. But it is the Disneyland Main Street music loop. So
Nice. Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's
pretty.
really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's fun, and of course, getting ready for our trip.
Yeah.
Got my list. I got gave Jeff a list of a few things to pick up today, last minute.
Oh, did you?
Rain ponchos at the dollar store.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
I thought you meant "This Our Dream," Jeff.
oh no,
like he was getting some stuff for us. Of course, they're going to be there pretty soon. I'm not sure when
they are.
they're
They
flying
are.
in, but
I think I saw a packing stream.
okay.
I think I saw
I
a
know they did a surprise Disney store stream. We're referring to "Diz Our Dream"
right.
for those in the chat.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
And they're doing a package drive, and I think they're leaving tomorrow. I
mm,
have tomorrow on my mind that they're going to drive down tomorrow, and they're going to be down there for the winter. So that'll be
yeah.
really nice. They'll be
Oh,
down
that's so
there
cool.
while we're there, and of course, guys,
So
my
cool.
nose has started itching as usual. But yeah, so we're hopefully going to be able to see them while we're down there. So
Yeah.
yeah, so looking forward to that. Got a gimbal craziness.
Oh, sorry.
um,
Sorry. I'm trying to fix a setting real quick. Bear with me just a second.
no worries, no worries. Okay, and we've got. I noticed that all of the Christmas merch is out in the parks.
Yeah.
I saw a date of tomorrow for the rest of the treats and for everything to be out. Decorations
Okay.
completely done. All of the treats, Donna Jaworski and several others, DFB Guide shared the Christmas treats that they had run into so far. All very festive. It's Christmas in the parks, guys. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're really excited about that and looking forward to being there for Christmas. It's my birthday and Christmas. How can you beat that?
No, you can't.
I'm really excited about it. And I've got just a quick shameless plug for our channel. I'm doing a daily video on this Star Wars Lego Advent Calendar box. This is a great box.
Yeah.
And it's an Advent calendar. You punch a little compartment every day, and there is a little Star Wars Lego piece in each one that you get, and you're able to put it together, and then of course add it to your Star Wars collection. So it's like a little daily treat.
Yeah. That's so cool.
And so I got a pod racer. The last couple of days I've gotten pod racer, which you'll remember from
Nice.
the Phantom Menace and Anakin Skywalker piloting the pod racer. And these are in the episode that we're going to talk about today. This is the service droid, the little service droids.
Yeah.
Gosh, my nose is itching, guys. Sorry.
Was it called a pit droid?
A pit droid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And
I thought I remembered looking that up for chapter 5 of season 1.
Yeah. So appropriately enough, that's what I drew.
Neat.
And that's tomorrow. So you guys got a little preview there. And so I'm looking forward to, finishing out this box. And I've gotten some really cool, this box is really cool because it has a little bit of everything. This is the Razor Crest. It has,
that's so cool.
Yeah. it's got something from all the way back to A New Hope to Mandalorian. It runs the full gambit for Star Wars fans who it's got something from all of the eras, if you will.
Yeah, something for everybody.
All the trilogies. Yeah. So, and one more thing before we jump into chapter 9. I made another Cliff Dweller.
Nice.
This is a Cliff Dweller from the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge cookbook, which I've just been having tons of fun with. And this is non-alcoholic. Of course, it's a lot of fruit juice. And then when you pour the ginger ale in on top of the fruit juice, you shake the fruit juice together. When you pour it in on top of the fruit juice, it gives you that nice foam on top of the ginger ale. So,
oh, nice.
So, and I'm using my Oga's Cantina coaster.
I'm surprised you haven't already gone so far as to laminate that yet.
I haven't thought of that, so thanks for the tip. But yeah, and a cast member did tell me that I could take that on my last trip to Oga's Cantina.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've got a couple of them with the Ewok
Tina.
on them. Yeah, welcome in, Tina. Yeah, we've got a couple of our coasters that we took with us from the our trip, and we forgot the first time we went. We forgot. Yeah, we didn't think to grab them off the table. And, we were also streaming. And so thinking about that too. And so it's hard to stay on top of things. So we should probably tell people in the chat this next time around, because we did announcement here. We did manage to snag a reservation for Oga's Cantina.
We did.
And
Absolutely.
huge shout out to
Jennifer
from Mickey's Travels.
Absolutely. Jennifer at Mickey Travels.
Yeah.
Guys, we love Mickey Travels. We use them a lot. Jennifer snagged us that reservation. And when we first made our park reservation, it was unavailable. And William and I have been going back and checking every day. No vacancy, nothing available. And it's like in the afternoon. And we wanted one in the afternoon, so we might get that late walkout with nobody in the park again. Hey, Russ.
Hey, welcome in, Russ. Thanks for being here. Bright suns to you.
Absolutely. Have lunch with us. We were talking about, we didn't snag it. Jennifer at Mickey Travels snagged an Oga's Cantina reservation for us. She also snagged our California Grill reservation for us. So
yeah,
we told her what we wanted, and she said, "I will watch for it, guys," and she did. She came through. So
and really that just goes to speak to the value. We don't we could easily have booked all of our stuff. Gotten our tickets. Made our own reservations. But in this situation, she was there, right time, right place, and snagged that reservation for us, because there's no guarantee that Mom, I don't know if she has some sort of alerts or, since she's a travel agent, since Mickey Travels is, kind of a, I don't know what you call it. They're an official Disney travel agency. And so anyway, I don't know that, who knows if me and Mom would have been able to snag that on our own, because, I don't know if they have alerts set up or how it works, but she got us a reservation. And so it just goes to show, that value add, even though, it doesn't cost us anything extra to go through Mickey Travels. Exactly. And so to have that extra bit of help to find something we really wanted to get a reservation for, but weren't able to whenever we originally booked. So it's nice to have that extra bit of help and somebody to check for you.
Yeah. Well, she got our California Grill reservation, and the Oga's one, we thought, okay, well, if we get it, great. If we don't.
Yep.
And she sent me an email and said, "Hey, little extra pixie dust for your day. I snagged you that." And I went to my Disney Experience app, and there it was, reservation for 3. So we're looking forward to that. And so I will probably be able to meet Jennifer in the parks. So
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, we're really looking forward to your trip. You'll be
Yeah.
there a few days before we are and going to the parks a couple times before we do. And
Mhm.
so I'm excited to watch your streams this time around.
Yeah.
And
You'll have
until,
to be Jarvis for me.
yeah, I'll do my
Jarvis.
best to keep an eye on things and try to help you out just like you helped us out.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, we'll be your guy in the chair.
There we go.
Reference to Spider-Man: Homecoming, where Ned's talking to Peter
Yeah.
Parker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll be your guy in the chair for that.
Okay.
For those days in the
For
park.
those few days, and then we'll all be in the parks, and so we're going to depend pretty heavily on our fantastic ghost host moderators to kind of help us think of things. All of them are really good to prompt us. Hey guys, remember you want to get this magic shot. You want to look for this merch. So we really appreciate them for prompting us, helping us think in the parks, because when you're streaming, you're trying to do everything, you're kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah.
From being there, just kind of wide-eyed with joy. So we really appreciate our ghost host mods for kind of helping, reminding us and reminding us of things we want to do. Hey, and so yeah.
That's pretty cool. Lori Jean Carlson. I've been to Dallas Airport before.
If you've been to DFW, golly, DFW is, man.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I'm about to say we usually prefer to fly through Dallas left field because it's not as hectic.
Exactly.
But
love if Laura, if you're coming through Dallas and you can go through love field instead of DFW, it is a lot less hectic. It's a smaller airport, but it's fantastic. It's a great smaller airport there in Dallas. So, but let's see, anything else? I'm going to show my drink again. For those of you who just came in, I went ahead and made another Cliff Dweller out of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge cookbook that William got for me. And it's a mix of fruit juices that has some fresh lime juice, pineapple juice, orange juice, and then it has an ounce of grenadine, which is like a mixing. It's non-alcoholic, but it's a sweet red mix that's used in mixed drinks, and then you top that with ginger ale. And
nice.
So
welcome in, Danny. Just popping in.
We are getting really excited. That's what we were just talking about, Danny. We appreciate you popping in. I know you're busy during the day, so it's really sweet of you to think to poke your head in and say hi.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We appreciate Danny. Yeah, he's a teacher, and appreciate all of our teachers that are working so hard and kind of trying to adjust during these really, really strange times. So thank you, Danny, and shout out to all of our other teachers too.
Most definitely. So, and I think that's all the stuff I have. Well, I have one more thing to share. I'll share that. Okay. I have one more thing, but
you're going to share it after.
Yeah, I'll share it after.
All
but
right.
Let's jump into chapter 9, season 2, chapter 9, which is the first episode.
Yes, it's called The Marshal. So the long wait for season 2 finally ended this past Friday, and looking forward to the next episode, chapter 10 of season. So it's technically the second episode of season 2 that'll drop tomorrow, but it's chapter 10 because it's a continuation of the Mandalorian story. Right. So anyway, we highly anticipated, and it did not disappoint. This episode,
I was not disappointed at all.
Oh no, and this one, in terms of we've used the term space western a whole lot for the Mandalorian, and this one has deep space western vibes throughout.
It totally does, just all the way through it. It has, including the actor who plays the Marshal, which we'll get to. Is Timothy Oliphant, and Western fans will know that he often plays a marshal in Western. So he was a good fit for this role. It was fun to see him on the screen. really wonderful.
Oh yeah, it was great. So we start off this episode. We see Mando and the child and his the child's in his little pram that he's usually in, the kind of floating car seat thing. It's egg shaped. He's just kind of riding along in it, and they're headed into a sketchy, very seedy, sketchy looking town. And it's not very well lit, and they're walking. Let's see. Yes, this episode was like a Western version of Jaws. Absolutely. Oh me.
That's the first thing that's the first thing I said. Russ, great minds think alike.
That's funny.
I'll when you first see the villain in this, that's I thought, okay, a sand Jaws. We're going to need a bigger sand pit.
Yeah. So they're walking into this really weird, very sketchy, does not look very reputable. Not the people who are most likely not well-to-do. There's a bunch of graffiti on the walls.
Right.
There's some red-eyed shadow beasts that are kind of growling at them as they're
lining the streets with It's
just hiding in the shadows.
It's seedy, highly questionable. Yeah.
And so Mando walks up to this building, and there's kind of a bouncer type figure outside. And so he says he's there to meet someone named Gor Koresh. Mm-hmm. And the guy just kind of looks at him, looks down at the child, tells him to enjoy the fights. So walks in. It's almost kind of like boxing match or like wrestling-esque scene. There's a bunch of fans in the crowd, and it looks very much like a wrestling ring. And there are a couple of Gamorreans who are kind of the pig-looking characters that, if you remember from Return of the Jedi, that are guards in Jabba's palace. And so there's an axe fight, obviously to the death, because they're not pulling any punches and they're trying to kill each other.
It's pretty rough.
And Mando walks in and sits down and talks to Gor Koresh. And the first thing, Gor Koresh kind of tells him that Russ says, we're going to need a bigger bantha. But he tells him, this is really no place for a child. And Mando says, wherever I go, he goes. And Mando informs Gor Koresh that he is looking for other Mandalorians to help him in his quest to return the child to his people. And
Jedi. We did want to mention that John Leguizamo, it's pretty cool because John Leguizamo plays Gor Koresh.
Oh, okay.
And, so and for those of you who are fans of his, he does a great job. It's kind of a cameo role. He just kind of appears but it's a good role for him. It's fun to see him in this role.
Yeah. I was wondering what else that let's see. I was wondering what else he was in. John Leguizamo. But anyway, so they go into a conversation with let's see here. I was going to look him up real quick. But they go into the conversation, and Gor Koresh, ask if Mando gambles, and he offers a wager for Din. I guess should we call Din Djarin? Should we call him by his name, or should we continue to call him Mando?
I think either would suffice.
Yeah. All right. So Mando, he proposes a wager for Mando's Beskar armor. Mando says, I don't gamble if I don't have to. And Gor Koresh basically says, I don't either. His Gamorrean's about to lose, and he shoots the other Gamorrean in the wrestling ring, as he could tell the one that he had wagered on isn't about to win, and it's probably about to die.
Yeah.
And,
which of course immediately clears the stands. Yeah. Everybody was screaming, out because there's blaster fire, and so Mando's easier, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mando is easier. And so and then kind of the people very close to Gor Koresh all pull their blasters on Mando. Mando doesn't even flinch. And he's got all these blasters like surrounding his head.
Yeah, we find out immediately that Gor Koresh is after his Beskar. because
Yeah.
Beskar, especially with the absence of even more Mandalorians, Beskar, of course, the price has gone up, and this guy is a mercenary, and we learn that he kills Mandalorians when he finds them to harvest their Beskar. So he's not a nice person, not a nice guy.
It's, for their monetary value. And so anyway, it's really funny. We see the moment, right off the bat in this episode, we see the moment from the trailer where the child activates the pram, pushes a button on the front of the pram, and the pram closes up. And because he knows business is about to pick up, the whistling birds activate, and he goes ahead and he says, "Oh, I'm out of here," and closes the pram.
That's my cue.
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, sure enough, the whistling birds go off and take off a lot of people that had guns on Mando.
Yeah,
and there's a really funny moment where one of the Gamorreans from the wrestling ring tries to like swan dive onto Mando out of the ring, which was very much a pro wrestling / luchador type move. Yeah, and Mando just kind of sidesteps him and he falls through a bench. But Mando
that scene was funny. You could tell that they had taken cues from wrestling, from actual professional wrestling with some of those moves. It was really kind of comical. And at one point, one of the guys actually punches Mando in his
Beskar helmet.
Why
that is me every single time I see a football fight break out and they're punching each other in the face mask or the helmet. It's like, oh my gosh. So but yeah, there's a fight. Mando bests, 3 or 4 villains in hand-to-hand combat.
His whistling birds take out like 5 of the Koresh's men immediately, and then the fight ensues with the ones that that come to as reinforcements, and of course Mando dispatches them rather handily, and Koresh, being the weasel coward that he is, heads out the back door. And of course, you're sitting there shaking your head, going, "Oh, you're toast, buddy."
You are toast. Mando tracks him down. This interrogation is very Batman-esque.
It is. It is.
He trips him up, with the grappling hook, and then slings it up over the one of the lamp poles that had the lights, and hangs him upside down and interrogates Gor Koresh and asks him where he can find Mandalorians. And Gor Koresh says Tatooine. And Mando tells him, hey, I've been to Tatooine. I've spent time there. I didn't see any Mandalorians. And so Gor Koresh, says that there's a bounty hunter there at Mos Pelgo. And so anyway, if you remember back to chapter 5 of season 1, that's where Mando runs into Pelimato, which we see later in this episode, and gets recruited to work for a fellow bounty hunter whose name escapes me currently.
If you can call him that.
Toro Calican. He was trying to get into the guild, and so Mando helps him out, and they're going after what was the name of Ming-Na Wen's character?
Ming-Na Wen's character.
Fennec Shan. Fennec Shan. Yeah. So he's been to Tatooine before.
Exactly, Tina.
And so anyway, he says, well, Tatooine it is. And it's funny, right at the outset, Mando says, you will not, I promise you will not die by my hand.
Right. Well,
which makes you
up there. And of course, us going, okay, he didn't say you're not going to die. He said he's not going to kill you. So it's like this guy is on an episode of Star Trek and he's wearing a red shirt.
Yeah.
So, and you Star Trek fans will know that reference. So, his toes.
So he tells him to go to Mos Pelgo and Tatooine, and Mando says Tatooine it is, and Gor Koresh wants down since he's hanging upside down, and Mando says that wasn't part of the deal. and then shoots out the light that he was hanging, and leaves him hanging, and we see the red-eyed shadow monsters converge on Gor Koresh. And another one bites the dust, most likely.
And it's Mando at this point. Mando at this point is kind of going through the galaxy, dispatching dead guys. I mean, dispatching bad guys. And you think, okay, well, he didn't kill him by his hand.
Yeah, technically. Yeah. Oh, me.
Yeah.
So Russ says he's been to Mando's been to Tatooine a lot. He's proficient in sand peopleese. Yeah, he speaks Tuscan, which I think is a really cool part.
I love that whole.
I thought that was so cool.
I did too.
And it's a mixture of making noises and also kind of sign language.
Yeah. Sign language. For people who speak sign language, there were a couple of times that I thought that might be American Sign Language that they were using. It's possible. Do you know, Russ or Tina,
I think Jillian could do a little bit of sign language at one point, but I don't know any to know whether or not it translated directly. But next scene we see is the Razor Crest is flying to Tatooine, flies overhead past a Tusken Raider or a sand person on a bantha. Banthas are kind of really furry, fuzzy-looking beasts with ram-like looking horns. Mando lands the Razor Crest at Pelimato's port from Chapter 5 of Season 1.
And it's good to see her. I was really excited to see her. I enjoyed this episode just because I love the whole Western thing. I thought, there was a little bit of humor. Like there is in most of these episodes, which kind of balances out the seriousness. But I was glad to see Pelimato again. I thought that she was a good character the first time around, and they kind of, her meeting there with Mando. She's glad to see the baby. She hugs the baby. She says, "I've been worried about this kid." The droid.
She is so thrilled. She says, "Oh, thanks the Force!" When she sees the child, and she's so excited.
Yeah, and of course the droids, head out to Razor Crest to start the servicing, and she says, "Wait, guys, you know how he feels about droids?" And he says, the Crest needs a good once over. Let him go ahead. So there's. She says,
"Oh, he likes droids now."
Funny, yeah. There's a kind of a funny exchange where the droids, one of them gets a pipe, stuck on.
Yeah, a little hose vacuum sucks to its face.
So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Injection into the whole mix of seriousness that's going on, trying to find the child's people and Mandalorians, to help lead him to the child's people. But it was good to see her again. It's always nice to land on Tatooine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's very very familiar place. But yeah, Mando asked Pelimato where Mos Pelgo is. She said it was wiped out in essentially a power struggle free for all after the Empire fell. And we see R5, big cameo there. R5 was the droid that they originally were planning to get in A New Hope, and then his motivator blew out. Which actually, in apparently there's a Star Wars book or some other source material. Apparently there was a droid discussion between R2D2 and R5. And he asked him, please make sure I'm the one that gets picked because I'm on a mission.
Right.
And R5 says, I don't have any missions. I'll gladly do this for you.
Right.
And so anyway, he basically essentially almost kind of sets off his own motivator. So he malfunctions. And that means that, Luke,
his father,
and yes.
Instead.
And so
yeah, I thought that was a really cool piece of, information.
And oh my goodness, they are so good about dropping these types of Easter eggs into the
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it. The Mandalorian really is zero entry in terms of you don't need to know every single thing about Star Wars
Yes.
to enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah,
but if you do know a whole lot about Star Wars, they slide these things in to really enhance the show.
R5. I did recognize R5. I thought, oh wait, that's
yeah. And so R5, one of the biggest unsung heroes of Star Wars. Peli Motto tells Mando where Mos Pelgo is. It's an old mining settlement, and she tells him where to find it. And he hops on the speeder bike and heads out. We see a scene as he's traveling on his way there. Obviously, it's some distance away because we see several scenes of the shots of the kind of the desert lands of Tatooine of him traveling through by speeder bike.
Yeah. Arrest says, so in other words, R5's the real reason the Empire was defeated.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Until now, we didn't realize that he did have a part. I mean, in it was a cooperative effort, I'd say. But, he did have a part in it. Thought that was a neat piece of information.
Yeah, so Russ also said it's reminiscent of a Native American sign language that the Americans taught them in order to communicate. And Tina says, I took minimal sign language in college, but I know an interpreter. I'll ask. Thanks, Tina.
Got to know.
But yeah, so obviously Mos Pelgo is not on the map. It's off the beaten path. People really don't even know it exists anymore. But Mando makes his way out there. You see him sitting at a campfire with some sand people, communicating with them. Mando rolls into town, and you can obviously tell that the townspeople, the villagers, are very leery of Mando. And
at this point, you really get that Western feeling. Stranger, walking into town, and the townspeople are lining the streets, and they're watching him. And he goes to the first place that any good hero in a Western would go, the saloon.
Yep. Rolls up into the cantina, tells the bartender, whose name is Weequay, we figure out because the marshal who we're about to be introduced to is mentions his name in the order that he makes. But he asked him, have you seen any Mandalorians? He's like, well, what do they look like? He said, well, they look like me. And he said, oh, you mean the marshal? And the camera pans over, and all of a sudden we see a figure there wearing Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor. Just instant chills to see.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But what we suspect is Boba Fett's armor. We strongly suspect maybe Boba Fett's armor. So, Daryl.
Hey, welcome in, Daryl. Thanks for being here. But yeah, so it was just awesome to see that armor again. And there's been other lore outside of Star Wars proper. The last time we saw Boba Fett on screen is when he falls into the Sarlacc pit, which I'll make reference to here later in the stream. But that's the last we saw of him. Now, other Star Wars lore says he battled his way out of the Sarlacc pit, and he actually survived.
Exactly. That's what
we see this armor again, and there's somebody wearing it. And then
credence to that.
Yeah. And so the marshal, says right off the bat, "What brings you here, partner?" And it's, he plays this role to a T.
Oh yeah, he's good. Yeah.
And so the marshal, the marshal's trying to figure out what Mando's business is here in the village, and he orders two snorts of spotchka, two little cups. I guess that's a measurement, maybe equivalent to a shot. I don't know. But
it's a Western term.
Yeah,
so it's just like a shot.
Okay. But Mando and he grabs his drinks and he goes to sit down, and the first thing he does when he sits down is remove his helmet. And that freezes Mando for a second because he knows immediately this is not something from my Mandalorian, like a Mandalorian.
A real Mandalorian would not do that.
that has sworn the creed would do. Yeah, Tina says he only needed spurs to pull it all the way western. Yeah, absolutely. And he says right off the bat, he confesses, the marshals open with Mando right off the bat. He never hides his intentions the whole time. He says, I've never met a real Mandalorian before. He says, I know you're good at killing, which means you probably want this armor that I'm wearing. And so he says, I figure only one of us is walking out of here.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mando takes offense.
The terms to Mando, those, because Timothy Oliphant knows enough about Mandalorian lore to know that this guy is really dangerous, and that he is probably going to be offended that he's wearing Mandalorian armor, and yet he is not a Mandalorian. So
yeah, exactly.
He knows all that, and that he's probably going to get challenged. And it really doesn't seem to ruffle him too much. I mean, they're ready to tangle. They stand. Oh,
they're 100% ready for a shootout duel right there in the cantina. And I thought
really cool.
Yeah.
They're
I mean, it's a throwback to let's meet at high noon. They're in the middle of the AI. I mean, the only thing that would have made it. Yeah, the only thing that would have made it even more Western is if they'd stepped out in the middle of town and gotten ready for a gunfight. But yeah, so the marshal notices. He says who he is. I'm Cobb Vanth, Marshal of Mos Pelgo, and he even tells Mando where he got their armor from. He bought it off some Jawas. Yeah, he does. And so
he never really pulls any punches with Mando. Nope. It's like from the beginning, you realize pretty quickly that he is an honest person, that he's actually a good guy. Yeah. He doesn't know Mando's intentions initially. The face-off is interrupted by this huge noise. All of the villagers go running. Yeah. And this
alarms, sirens are going off.
And so the sheriff goes, 1 minute. I need to attend to this. And so they walk outside and see all this happening, and you can tell, I don't know what it reminded me of. Excuse me. I don't know how many of you have seen the horrible movie with Kevin Bacon called Tremors.
Yep, that's what I was thinking of.
That's what it reminded me of, because this thing is coming, from underneath the sand. You don't see him immediately. Everybody's running, for the cover, running into the buildings and what have you. And this thing continues underneath the sand, and you just see the movement. It's like an earthquake. Yeah. And this thing goes through town, and there's a bantha standing tied, and at the end of the street. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you see sand jaws come out, and it's like, oh, okay.
I mean, banthas are pretty large. Hey, welcome in, R. Johns. Thanks for being here.
Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. We're talking about the
and Mike too. I didn't say hi to Mike. Oh, Russ says that his mom loves Tremors. That's funny. I haven't seen it in forever, so I can't even tell you most of the storyline.
I've watched it more than once.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what this reminded me of. And so obviously you realize that the sheriff has a problem.
Yeah.
A big problem.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he said, what is it? He says, maybe we could work something out. After you see this giant, it's a crate dragon, yes, is what the monster's called. But yeah, essentially it's a giant, sand jaws just come up and eat. And banthas are pretty large. Just come up and eat the whole thing all in one gulp.
It's like a picture a woolly mammoth, woolly mammoth, an elephant kind of, they're enormous. So, so they work out something, and basically, the sheriff says, hey, we've got this crate dragon problem, and if you'll help me kill it, I'll give you the armor.
Yeah. And Mando says deal.
And
And there's a really cute scene after the crate dragon comes through and eats the bantha, where the child pops back up out of the spittoon. And it's really cute, and he's cooing and everything. But
Russ, you're right. I like Kevin Bacon. I'm just a huge Kevin Bacon fan. But it's just
Daryl says it's about as big as a snuffleupagus. Oh, me.
It's a lot meaner.
We get kind of the Marshall's backstory as they've arranged this deal. And the Marshall speeder bike looks really cool. Just side note, it kind of looks very much like pod racer style vehicle.
It's kind of a different style than what we do. So
And so the Marshal mentions, Mos Pelgo celebrated the destruction of the second Death Star, and then as one power falls out of one high power falls out of power, there's usually always somebody looking to slide in and take over. And the mining collective,
hits a vacuum.
Mm-hmm. And the mining collective moves in and they attack everyone in the cantina. Everybody's in there celebrating, and then just immediately, the mining collective moves in and wants to take over. And we see Cobb Vanth, the Marshal, and Weequay both escape from the cantina, and he runs over and grabs a Camtono, which is the ice cream maker looking thing. And it turns out to have silicax crystals in it, which are apparently valuable. Yes. And I thought a funny saying, we have funny sayings like, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. But he said, even, well, what was it? He used the saying that was like,
I can't remember.
Even both sons shine on a womp rat's tail every once in a while. Or it's something along those lines, which I thought was really funny. But so they, he's kind of wandering through the desert. He's got this Camtono. He is just exhausted, and then the Jawa sandcrawler shows up, and he is rescued by the Jawas. He drinks some water to get rehydrated, and the Jawas open the Camtono, and they really want these crystals. Mm-hmm. And so they start bringing things up to him. They bring a droid up to him, an R2 unit, and they keep bringing him things because they want to exchange for these crystals. And he sees over to his left.
Hi, Garrett.
Hey, welcome in, Garrett. He sees over to his left Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor.
Yeah.
And he, is obviously very exhausted, and he points to it, and that's what he wants.
That's how, hey, nice to,
hey, welcome in.
Very nice to, thanks guys for coming in. Yeah. And it's really, it's at that point, again, he's been really forthright with Mando.
Yeah, he has.
I think he realizes that Mando, he's done really well protecting the town up to this point with just the Mandalorian armor. Just the idea of a Mandalorian has helped him protect the town. He obviously
it served as a big deterrent.
Obviously, it has.
Yeah.
And we find out that Timothy Oliphant's character, the Marshal, is not he's not a coward. He loves the town. He hates bullies, obviously. Yep. And so he stepped into this role using this armor as a tool. It's a tool.
It's great. And it's very funny to see, like, Boba Fett was a bounty hunter. Like, he was not an upstanding character. Right. And so it's very funny to see his armor being used for good.
That's true. And Boba Fett, and he has attracted such a cult following to be a somewhat minor character in the Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
I refer to it as the first Star Wars trilogy. But so to see his armor come back, it's really a cool tie-in.
Oh yeah.
And the tie-in continues. We'll get to that. To that later. There are more clues of some really cool stuff to come. But I really, really like his character. I really like the Marshal. I thought Timothy Oliphant played him very well. And he never pulls any punches with Mando. He's honest with him. He realizes this guy's the real deal, and he can help us, with this situation. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I love, he rolls into town with the Mandalorian armor on. Cobb Vanth does, the marshal, rolls into town with the armor on, shoots all the guys in the cantina, which, Weequay, the bartender's also scared of him, but he just kind of gives him a nod to say, like, get out of here. And he shoots all the guys there in the all the mining collective guys, and then to top it off, some of the mining collective guys try to escape, and he takes them out. He flips down the little antenna thing off of the Mandalorian. And shoots the missile off of his jetpack and blows up their vehicle to wiping out the mining collective right in one fell swoop.
Yeah, it dispatches the bad guys. And that's, that's part of it. That's part of the story where you realize, he risked his life to go back. He didn't have to go back at that point.
Well, he says the armor, he not only bought the armor, he bought his freedom.
He did. Yeah. So, he just kind of takes it upon himself to protect the town. Yeah. And Mando's arrival is a fortuitous circumstance.
Oh yeah.
For him.
And so they're traveling across the desert. You get the marshal's backstory, and then they come up on some massiffs. These are called massiffs. So that's Massiff. And they're very ugly, like reptile wolf-looking dogs that apparently the Tusken Raiders have as pets. But they're look like they're ready to pounce on Mando and the marshal when all of a sudden Mando yells something in Tusken, and they all kind of chill out. And it's funny because he's actually able to pet. He's able to pet one of them like a dog. And so the marshal's very confused about what's going on. The Tusken Raiders come out of hiding, and we all of a sudden learn that the Tusken Raiders also want the Krayt Dragon dead.
So they, we're to speed it up a little bit here. Yeah. They join forces.
They do.
They go after the Krayt Dragon, and while they're observing the Krayt Dragon and the fact that the Sand People have been feeding it so it'll sleep longer and maybe have less trouble, the Sand People actually have a plan for defeating the Krayt Dragon, but they realize that he's so massive that they don't have enough people.
Yeah.
And so,
it's kind of funny because they talk, there's this conversation between Mando and the marshal, and the Sand People take them to the cave, the Krayt Dragon's cave, and they're watching from a distance, and one of the Sand People goes to take the bantha to the Krayt Dragon. And, they said they've been studying its digestive habits for generations. And then all of a sudden you think that it's going to eat the bantha, but it eats the Tusken Raider. And then Mando says, they may be open to some ideas. But it's very interesting because it just goes to show you, like, the impact that communication can have between two different parties, because even in A New Hope, the Tusken Raiders are not viewed as good guys. Like they attack Luke and Obi-Wan, and so like we finally see a Star Wars character communicating with the Tusken Raiders. Right. And it really eases the tensions between parties, because the marshal, is there's a couple times where the marshals and also the villagers get, irritated and agitated towards the Sand People, because, all they've known from the Sand People is violence. They all they know is that they attack them. Yeah. And the marshals killed Sand People himself because they came to attack Mos Pelgo.
And they realize basically Mando, plays the diplomat and says, if we continue to fight amongst ourselves, the villagers and the Sand People, the Tusken, also known as the Tusken Raiders, the thing is going to eat us, or he's going to kill us all. The Krayt Dragon is going to get us. So they realize that they have to, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah. They're going to have to work together, and that fosters probably a brand new relationship between the townspeople and the Sand People, because they have to band together to fight the crate dragon.
Yeah.
They devise a plan. They basically set charges, outside his lair, and they say, he tells Timothy, I keep calling him Timothy. He tells the sheriff, we're going to have to, hit him on the underside of his belly because that's where he's vulnerable. And so they lure him out, and they do set off a charge. But they don't have him quite far enough out of his lair to to make the charges.
It doesn't kill it.
Effective. It makes him mad. They hit him hard enough to make him mad.
And the villagers from Mospelgo and the Sand People are all trying desperately to draw out the crate dragon, and they get it out to a point, but it doesn't kill it. And so things are kind of quiet for a minute. And the crate dragon is retaliating by like spitting out, like vomiting up like stomach acid stuff, and it just completely wipes people out. And so things get real quiet. Crate dragon goes up, disappears for a moment, and then pops out the top of the cave opening and just spewing that nasty stuff out.
Yeah,
and then
at this point, it's really cool because Mando and the sheriff, the sheriff says, let's go. He's picking us off. We gotta take him out. And so they both take off in their jetpacks, which was really cool, I thought. Yeah. And they engage the crate dragon on the ridge above his cave there for a little while. And then they can't get him. Yeah,
they're trying to shoot it, but it's their weapons are not hurting it.
Yeah, so we're on like plan C now. So they land back on the ground, and Mando realizes that he's got to think fast on his feet. He's got to figure out how to kill this thing while they have it out of its cave before it retreats again, or they have to start
before it kills everyone too.
Yeah, and so he sees a bantha that is tied to a stake with all the explosives.
Yeah,
like a vest around it, and so there's this huge bantha with all these explosives, and the light bulb goes on. Mando essentially, says, he and you kind of know. I mean, I was following. You kind of know what he's going to do. He doesn't have time to tell the sheriff. He basically pushes the sheriff away. He hits.
Here's another Easter egg. So in Return of the Jedi, Han is still kind of blinded from being in the carbonite. The effects haven't worn off yet. And he accidentally sets off Boba Fett's jetpack. And that's what causes Boba Fett to fly off and then end up rolling down into the Sarlacc pit. Right. Yeah. So, really solid throwback there. And so Mando does basically the same thing to the Marshal to get him out of there.
Way. Yeah, he does. Because he knows what he's about to do.
Yeah.
And so he
Russ says, cool fact, when the dragon is spewing acid from the top of the cave, they used a practical puppet similar to the Rancor in Empire Strikes Back. A cool nod to old Star Wars creatures. Yeah, that's awesome. See, those are the things, you don't, those are the things you don't know or appreciate unless you do, this type of digging to find out these little details. One other thing while we're on the topic of the crate dragon is Obi-Wan in A New Hope imitates the call of the crate dragon to scare off the Tusken Raiders. And we also see C-3PO walking through the desert, and there's a skeleton of a crate dragon that's in the desert. And actually, that was a replica. The dragon that you see in the desert was a replica of an animatronic from the 1975 Disney comedy called One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing.
And that's interesting.
After they filmed A New Hope, they left it in the desert, and an archaeologist by the name of Dr. David West Reynolds found in 1995 found found it out in the desert.
That's funny.
So little Disney tie-in there.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to mention too that I thought was really interesting, the Mospelgo villagers and the Sand People really have this, big distrust, and it really is the enemy of my enemy is my friend, just like Tina said.
Yeah.
But the scene where they have this village meeting is super Western. He's trying to convince all the villagers to to join up with the Sand People. He talks about how much he loves the town, and he's like, and forbid that the Crate Dragon attacks the school, and so so they ended up settling up on a peace treaty. The Sand People aren't going to attack Mos Pelgo. They're going to work together, band forces. But yeah, all right. Back to so Mando, discharges the marshal's backpack to get him out of there. Mando's holding the bantha. The bantha's stake comes out of the ground. He's standing there holding it, trying to keep it in place. And then Mando and the bantha both get eaten.
Yeah.
And then things get real quiet for a second. And you're like, oh no, I mean, you would hope it's not it's not final, but it's never a good thing to get eaten by a monster of that size.
No. I would say no.
Yeah, and so anyway, I think it's really cool of Mando to say, tell the marshal pretty much if anything happens to me, take care of the kid. But anyway, Mando gets eaten. And he ends up blowing up the Crate Dragon from inside, and so very much monster, monster movie-esque, kind of like Men in Black, where he's Tommy Lee Jones says, "Eat me."
Exactly. The scene reminds me of a scene in Jaws where Quint scratches the chalkboard too, to get everybody, the townspeople are arguing amongst and he scratches the chalkboard to make them all shut up so he can make his offer to kill Jaws. Quint, don't get me started on Jaws. But I love Jaws. If you're a Jaws fan, we need to talk. William knows I love Jaws. Jaws was the first blockbuster movie ever, and so we'll talk later about Jaws.
But anyway, Mando, they blow up the thing. Yeah, Tina says yes. That showed a lot of respect and trust. Absolutely, to tell the marshal to take care of the kid, the child. But I'll tell you what. We see the Crate Dragon blown up, and we see all this meat, and the Sand People are kind of salvaging it. And one of them holds up what looks like an egg, and I'm like, oh no!
I was at no for me too.
It looks like a giant pearl, but.
Mando, of course, he has the detonator. He's taken the detonator from the marshal, and he blows up the Crate Dragon from the inside because the bantha is also in there with all the explosives. Blows him up from the inside, and then he you see him, he's regurgitated from the dragon, and he hits the detonator. And boom, the Crate Dragon is everywhere, and there's Crate Dragon everywhere, and it goes back to the Sarlacc pit. I've never seen an abandoned Sarlacc pit, and Mando replies, "There is if you eat the Sarlacc." Well, there's an abandoned Crate Dragon lair if you eat the Crate Dragon, which is what they cut him up in there. Slice of Mando even has a nice big chunk of.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. Here's an idea for you. If anybody from Disney sees this, Docking Bay 7, we need some Crate Dragon. We need to eat some Crate Dragon because I love you could call it steak if you want to, but I looked at that and I was like, man, that is a solid cut of meat that Mando's got there on the bike.
Yeah, let's throw a little Heinz 57 on that and have it in Docking Bay 7. I think that is a great idea. Sarlacc on the menu, or not Sarlacc, but a Crate Dragon on the menu. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love that.
So but the marshal gives up the armor, which he says, "Tell your people I didn't break that." And so I need to run that back and watch it again. I was wondering what he referred to that he said he didn't break. It was something on the armor. So I need to run that back and actually watch that again because I was like, what did he break?
I didn't notice him break anything either. I don't know if he, I don't know exactly what. Russ, did you notice when you were watching it?
Uh-huh.
You may have noticed.
But the marshal, gives up the armor, and Mando takes it, and basically says, "I hope we cross paths again." Kind of rides off into the sunset, and sorry, say that again.
Yeah, they part as friends.
Oh, okay. Russ said, I think he was referring to the dent in the helmet. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. So we see this cool scene, riding back through the desert with the twin suns over Tatooine, and all of a sudden we see a figure in the distance.
Yep.
And it is none other than Tamora Morrison, who is the actor that played Jango Fett in the prequels, in the first 3 episodes before obviously he's dispatched by Mace Windu. But super awesome. This was huge.
This is big. This is I mean, this whole chapter was leading up to this moment, I think. And to think that we might see him again reprising that role is really exciting. And what's he doing there? When Mando left, I thought to myself, what? Really, the sheriff was not a real Mandalorian. So what if that wasn't the Mandalorian that he was supposed to be looking for? This is not the Mandalorian you're looking for. And then just right as this thought bubble was still in the air over my head, and it showed.
And he's wearing dark clothes. Very much the weapons on his back look very much like ones that Tusken Raiders would wield. But he's just watching in the distance, and so cool. So there's pretty much, if you ask me, there's one of 2 people this could be. I'm thinking it has to be Boba Fett, but the other option would be Captain Rex from the Clone Wars and from Star Wars Rebels. Right. Because all of the clones, if you recall, all of the clones were created, basically cloned after Jango Fett. Right. And Tamora Morrison played Jango Fett. So it's got to be, if you ask me, it has to be Boba.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that only confirms what was written in the books, that Boba lives, Boba survived the Sarlacc.
Oh, thanks for happening. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hope you. Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah, you gotta keep your dishwasher going.
Yeah, get that.
Absolutely.
Have a good one, Garrett.
Thanks,
hope you're able to get that straightened out. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah. But so this is exciting. I'm really, it'll be on tomorrow night. We're looking forward to
I'm interested to see whether or not we'll see him in this next chapter, the next episode, which comes out tomorrow, or if we're going to see him later on down the line here.
Oh, actually, Tina, in the timeline that we're following here, he would be about the right age for Boba Fett. Am I right, William?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Boba Fett, because like I said, the last time we saw Boba Fett on screen, he fell down in the Sarlacc pit. But there are books, I believe, and stories that have been written. Hey, Amy, thanks for being here. That have said Boba made it out of the Sarlacc pit with his life, so he lived.
Yeah.
So the Mandalorian is confirming those stories and making them canon.
Right. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So let's see here.
By the way, tell Michelle a new hole in the wall and figure it out. Exactly. The first thing I would do, guys, is call a repairman. That's the first thing I would do.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Russ says, but will Boba Fett be for or against Mando, seeing as he was allied with the Empire?
Exactly.
We don't know. Yeah. We don't know. We'll see. But that was the big kind of moment, for this episode. And we'll see where things end up going.
Yeah, got us kind of on the edge of our seats for the second one, which comes out. Thursday's a good day to have this because we get to watch it. We get to watch the next one tomorrow, and think about it and talk about it, come up with our fan theories
Yeah.
before we talk about it again next Thursday. But I'm really looking forward to it. I am so excited about all of this new, and the whole series has just given us new information
Yeah.
about things that transpired just a few years after the Death Star blew up.
Yeah.
So
Return of the Jedi.
Right. It's a period of time where we really don't have a whole lot of information unless it's in the books. It might possibly be in the books. I have not read the books, but from a series or a movie standpoint, The Mandalorian is filling in a lot of gaps for us as far as that time frame. So, and very well, I might add, they're really, I appreciate Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni so much for what they've done here.
Yeah.
They obviously get Star Wars. They get it. They are true fans. They understand Star Wars fans, and I think they're really doing us justice, guys. I think they're really doing this series great justice.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's extremely popular. It's probably the most popular series anywhere right now on any streaming service. And so let's see. So why do you think Boba Fett did not get his gear back? Well,
that's a good question.
Oh, yeah. From the skinny sheriff.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he's trying to stay, sometimes, if you're dead, then nobody knows, or if you're presumed dead, nobody knows you're still around. And so you can use that to your advantage.
Well, or maybe he like Mando, it has just shown up on the scene.
Yeah.
He may have just arrived on the planet. It's not clear why he's there or how long he's been there yet. So
hopefully we'll find out.
Yeah, he may have just arrived on the scene. I mean, if he's kind of been watching all this from afar, he may be watching Mando because Mando's got his armor.
Yeah.
He may be thinking, okay, obviously they're going to cross paths. So,
we'll see.
Destruction of the Death Star. Yeah. In that episode. It is a different perspective on how the universe was affected by the Empire. At the end of A Return of the Jedi, there's great rejoicing on all of the planets because the Empire has been defeated. But again, there's a vacuum of power on a lot of these planets, and we see a lot of mayhem. We see a lot of raiders and unscrupulous people descend on populated places and try to seize power because there is a power vacuum after on many planets.
Yeah, that's a good point. Daryl says he could Boba could be using the armor for not really using it, but using it from a distance to bait other Mandalorians in.
Hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of angles to this, and I think it'll be interesting to see what direction the directors and producers go with the next. With the next, is Cara Dune supposed to show up in the next one? I wonder.
I have no idea. We'll see. I don't know anything about the next. What's coming next?
So he may still arrested, or he may still be hiding since everyone is hiding Mandalorians. Exactly. He has become a hermit. Maybe he became wise in his adventures. He could end up being a great ally. That's true.
Yeah.
We don't. It's just wide open. As to how he will play into the story and what interaction and relationship he'll have with Mando. But obviously there will be one.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Watch that. So.
All right. So it's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to the next episode coming out tomorrow. Look forward to talking about that next week.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Shout out to Aunt Joy, who's always watching but never comments. A shout out to T. McNeil, DCS, What in the World with Russ, Laura Jean Carlson, Griswold Family Vacay, Daryl Searcy, Mike Wheeler, R. Johns, Monarch Moments, Diz Our Dream, and AJC Magic TV. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but hopefully you'll be on our next show.
Hopping in, we appreciate it, guys. I got some magic mail.
Cool.
It was a birthday present from my sister. and she sent me some stuff that was just really sweet of her. So thanks, Joy, for that. And again, guys, make sure that you're subscribed and ring that bell, because we're going to be in the parks in, what did I say? How many days? 9 days? 9 days. I will be there. And so, we don't have, a set schedule for lives. So some of them are going to be kind of pop-ups. I'll try to put them out there and give you a little warning, but be sure you ring the bell so that you get a notification when we go live in the parks. And I'm looking forward to it. We're excited about it. And so we'll have to see, what we do as far as our live streaming schedule. If we stick to, our shows for that week, we'll be making some announcements about that to let y'all know. So, yay!
Yeah.
I know. And you guys are packing, right, Jeff? So, yay! Single digit dance. Happy. If I was like Lynn and I was in a swivel chair, I could do my happy hippo swivel. But, anyway, we appreciate it, guys. And
yeah, just a quick reminder, Mom's got the Lego Star Wars Advent calendar that she's using to count down and putting out a daily video leading up to her trip. So check that out. We've got our Hitchhiker Chat every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. And Jillian has her Saturday show at 8:15 Central, 9:15 Eastern. So big shout out to Dean from theliveplace.com. It's a great TV guide for family-friendly content. Really appreciate Dean. He's got a great YouTube channel called Dreamers Empire. Mm-hmm. Also, if you are a YouTube creator, check out TubeBuddy. It analyzes your videos for performance and gives you suggestions on better titles, how to boost your views, and how to make better videos. And it's free. There's a paid version, which Mom and I did convert over to, that's just really, really beneficial to us. And check out our affiliate link in the description below. Mm-hmm. Let's see. And special shout out, as always, to our Ghost Host moderators. Thank you so much for keeping our chat family friendly and for just being here, having fun with us on our stream. But and shout out to everybody that joined in on the chat. Shout out to everybody that's going to watch on the replay. We thank you and appreciate your support and encouragement. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Mom?
No, I see that Mando is leaving the galaxy and the Razor Crest here. So I guess it's a done deal.
All right, everyone. Till the Spire, thanks again for watching, and please, as always, hurry back. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all. Till the Spire.
Till the Spire.